Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this design was actually inspired by one of my followers on YouTube and on Instagram, Miss Curly Blonde Unicorn, shout out to you. So she had originally posted on one of my other YouTube tutorials and asked if I could do crystal nails, and I wasn't quite sure what that meant at first, and then she tagged me in a photo on Instagram by VINCENTNAILS and I was blown away by that design. So I thought, yes, let me try and see if I can replicate it. Now what she was asking was if I could do it in acrylic, because most of the designs, if not all of them that she has seen so far, have been done in gel. So challenge accepted, and this is what I came up with. So if this is something you're interested in seeing, please stick around. As always, please click the like and subscribe button. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comment section below, and stay tuned. Okay guys, so as I mentioned in another video, when I'm doing tutorials, I actually don't generally practice them before I am doing the tutorials. I may have done the design on a client in the past, but this one in particular was requested by a follower on my social media and a subscriber on my YouTube channel. So I will put the picture of the image that she requested in the side here so that you can see. I will probably post that image a couple of times. And so as I'm going through the design, I've pulled everything out that I think I'm going to use in the design, but sometimes while I'm filming, you will see that I will pull out another product or another color or something else that I think, oh, I should add this. So I'm going to show you everything that I am going to use that I have pulled out right now, but be aware during the video there may be some items that I add while I'm doing it. So first off, you are going to need a clear acrylic and a white acrylic, and then you're going to need some darker colors in these shades. So I have just pulled out of my drawer some of my custom mixes. I know that this isn't the best for you guys when doing tutorials because you don't know where to get these colors, because I have custom mixed them. But I just have so many, I don't even know if that, hundreds and hundreds of custom mix colors like this in my drawer. So I generally gravitate towards them. So you're going to need a black for sure. So I've just got this little black acrylic here. And then I've got a navy, and in the camera it does look black, but it is definitely a navy. You can see when I open the jar, you can see that blue hue to it way better. So I've got the navy. Then I've got this blue here, and it does have some shimmer in it. I'll just open the jar as well. So it's like a cobalt type of blue, but it does have a little bit of a shimmer in it. And then I've got this teal one. It's a very dark, deep teal color. And I've also got this magenta, I don't know if that's what I think it would be like a magenta. It's like a brighter purple. It looks very bright in the jar, and it also has a little bit of shimmer to it. And I am going to also use one of my Glam and Glitz glitters or shimmers, CPA 383. It is a very, very fine gold shimmer. I've used this in one of my other videos as well, and it's really nice. The shimmer in it is so, so fine. And then I'm also going to use this was the original unicorn powder that I ever got. I think that they were maybe the first ones out on the market. It's been a long time since I've actually bought this, and I am running a little low. So it's the LUMINAURA AURORA. Now I believe that she came out with one after this that was an even finer grit. As you can see, I'm running pretty low, but to be honest, this has lasted me a really long time. So you want something that has a bit of a gold hue to it. I do have the JOHENS. There's one called Aurora, and also I think Unicorn. I believe the Unicorn one has a pink hue and the Aurora one has more of a greenish hue. So I did test all three of them, including this one, over black, and I liked that this one had a little bit more gold to it, so that's why I chose this one. But again, I'll link everything I can below. And then you're going to need some type of an acrylic brush, of course, whatever one you choose. I'm still currently using the big one from JOHENS. I can't find it on the Pink Chair website, but I will link it to the JOHENS website directly. And of course, whatever monomer you're going to use. And my favorite top coat that I'm still using is the Young Nails. I say this in every video because it is fact. I still love this guy. So I'm going to be using this one. And that is it for product. So hang in there, guys. We're going to get started. Now, I would have loved to do it on some long stiletto nails, just like Vincent did. But unfortunately, I'm still waiting for my order of my stiletto practice tips and swatch sticks to come in. It may be a while yet with this whole COVID thing, so I'm just going to do it on my shorter little oval nails, which is fine. And actually it's sometimes good to do this because oftentimes when we're working on the really long nails, we can add so much layers and so many layers, excuse me, and so many things and make it really thick, and it doesn't matter because it's so long. And when you're working on shorter nails, you definitely need to keep it thinner. So upon looking at the image that VINCENTNAILS did, I am going to do it in 2 layers. And what I'm going to do is sort of just be marbling the colors and blending them. And as I said in the beginning of this video, I am just winging it. So you would want to start off by putting a thin layer of clear first, because obviously when you're working with colors, particularly dark colors, when you go to do your client's fill, you don't want to have to take it down all the way to the natural nail. So by putting that little layer of clear puts a barrier between the natural nail and the product, and then when you do your fill, you just take down all the way to that clear layer. So obviously for this video, I don't need to do that. So we're going to start in by doing, and as I said, you guys, I'm winging it. So in the beginning, I said here that I might do I'm going to do 2 layers. It might end up being 3, I'm not sure, but I'm going to start off by doing 2. So we're going to start at the cuticle area. Seems to be a very dark color in the image of the VINCENTNAILS design. So I'm going to actually start by applying a small bead of black right at the cuticle area. Now we are working with this acrylic being wet, quite wet, and we're not really doing as much of a marbling design as we are a blending design. So generally when you do the marbling, you will take a bead of acrylic, apply another bead on top, another bead on top, another bead of top, and then we end up dragging the brush through to create those lines. We're not really doing that here. We're more so blending. So we want to keep the acrylic wet. And now I'm just dipping into that navy color and I'm kind of blending it in with that black and creating that layer of color there. And then I'm going to go into the blue with the shimmer, and same thing. We're just kind of moving the color around and filling in the area and blending it. And I'm going to grab some of that teal and add that in. Now it's okay if this layer is slightly transparent and some areas are more opaque. That's okay, because in the image of the VINCENTNAILS design, it does look like there are some areas that have a little bit of a transparency, and that is okay. So now I'm grabbing that magenta, and that magenta is really, I feel, what brings this whole thing and kind of pops that, makes it just pop a little bit more, is that addition of that magenta. Again, we're just kind of blending. I'm moving it over the black, over into the blue. Now it kind of starts looking a little bit like a galaxy nail. So I'm actually, I grabbed a little bit of that navy color, and then I'm grabbing a little bit of the black, and I'm just putting it into that navy just to make it a little more dark. Again, just continuing on, like I was saying, it sort of looks a little bit like galaxy nails to start off. And basically you just want to keep playing with the colors, blending them together, mucking them around. Generally I tell you guys, oh, don't play with it too much, because, you know, don't muck with it too much because you'll make it muddy, but we actually want to muck around with these ones and really blend them to get those colors blended nicely. Again, I'm going in with the black, and I'm going to add a little black down here to make it a darker section, and just keep adding the colors and blending and adding and playing with those colors until you are happy with that base layer. Now this is really going to be the foundation, so you want to be, you know, quite happy with it. I'm just going to add a little more teal over here. I just want to add some more color in certain areas to darken it up a little bit. Maybe grab a little bit of that black for the center area. And some teal down here. And again, you can mix colors. If you want a darker purple, I'm going to dip into that blue and a little bit of that magenta and add those together and kind of mix them. You get sort of a purpley hue. Now I really want that cuticle area to be dark, so I'm going back in with some more black and just really layering up that area there just so that it's dark, because on that design that Vincent did, it's a very, very dark at that cuticle area. So I'm just going in and doing that some more, and as you can see, it's really darkened up there. Going in with some of that magenta. Okay, so this is what I've got so far, and I'm quite happy with that. So now I'm going to go in with some of the gold from Glam and Glitz. I've just got a little tiny bit, and that's the key when you're working with designs that you're doing layers. You really want to work with small little beads of your acrylic. So I'm going in and adding that gold. Now, it might actually even have been a really nice idea to add a few gold flakes, but I didn't pull them out of my drawer. And you know what? I'm going to grab a couple of, I love the addition of flakes. I'm not sure that there are any in Vincent's design, but I am going to add a little bit of flake here. So I'm going to grab some out of my drawer real quick. So I've actually just got these ones from Born Pretty. I'm assuming they'll be okay. I'm not going to add a lot at all. I'm just going to add a few little flakes. I might just add one here right next to that gold. You can see when I turn the light, it just catches that little flake, and I might add a couple more again by this gold here. And then I'm going to dip into my clear, because this is starting to dry and it's pretty dry at this point. I'm going to go into my acrylic and my clear acrylic. Just grab a tiny, tiny, tiny little bead on the tip there. And then I'm grabbing some of that Aurora from the LUMINAURA, and I'm going to add a little bit of that as well. Again, doing the same thing, and I'm just adding a little tiny bit of that here. And it just adds different dimension of color. When you turn the nail, you end up seeing all those little sort of flecks. Now, this is the part where I believe people maybe struggle with acrylic and doing these marble type of designs with the white. So how you want to do that is you want to grab a small bead of white. You're going to place it on the nail wherever, say we'll do it right there, and then you're going to pull that bead through the nail like this. So basically you're blending and dragging so you get what looks kind of like a marble. So if you can see, there's that crisp line right here, but then it's sort of faded this way. And that's how you get those little marble lines with acrylic. Very small little beads of acrylic. I'm going to take this one and do it this way, like so. And as you can see, that bead is just kind of sitting on my brush. And I'm just going to drag it through. Now there are certain areas on the design that look almost like they're sort of a patch of white, so I'm actually going to blend a little bit also. I'm not going to drag it through. I'm going to take my brush, put a little bead, and just sort of pat it out so that it becomes sort of milky in that area. And I'm just going to do that in a couple of areas. So I'm going to add one over here, a little bit of a milky patch. And maybe another one here, a little milky patch. And then draw another line here. The key is to have the bead be wet. And I'm going to do another line here so that it drags through and you get those sort of fine little lines. I'm just pulling up this picture here. Okay, so now we're going to let this layer completely dry so that when we put the next layer on, it doesn't muck about and mess things around. Okay, so this color layer is cured and I'm going in now with a thin layer of clear. This is not the capping layer, this is just a thin layer of clear. And we're going to apply that over the entire nail. Again, keeping it relatively thin. And the reason we're doing this is just to add that level of dimension. So normally when you're doing color or doing layers, you layer the colors. Now if we went in and layered more of these colors, it would just, because they're dark, it would just end up covering up the existing layer. And you wouldn't really get that sort of layered effect where you see all of the different layers of transparency. Generally when we're layering colors, they're a bit transparent or really light, so you get that effect. So I've just gone in and put that thin layer of clear, and I'm going to let it dry. I want it to be dry, I don't want it to be wet. Now I'm going to go in again with some more of the white. So we're going to add, oh, that's a bit big of a bead. You want a very, very tiny, you're just the very, very tip of your brush to have any kind of color on it. And we're going to add more of those lines. And the thing that I kind of loved about the design that Vincent did was some of the lines were actually almost like spider web. So they didn't just go across the nail and down, they actually kind of spidered out from the center of one of the lines. So like for instance there, I'm going to spider that one out a little bit. And then I'm going to grab another little tiny bead here and do the same thing. Spider this one out a little bit from the center of that one. And then maybe even create sort of a little, again, that bead was too big. When I say grab the tiniest amount, I look at that, like the teensiest little amount. And then I'm going to maybe connect those ones and drag this again. So you're just creating those little fine lines that we generally would do with gel. So again, I'm going to go over here and do the same thing. I'm going to create a line, a blended sort of line, marbled line. And you can drag the color too on the one side a little bit if you want it to marble a little bit more. And again, grab another little tiny bead. And I'm going to create sort of an opening with these two. And then spider this one out a little bit. So again, as you can see, we're just kind of creating more layers of that white and that marbling effect. And then I'm going to go in with some more of the gold, little tiny bit. I'm going to actually add some to the center here. Just a tiny, tiny bit. And a little tiny bit of that Aurora, the LUMINAURA Aurora. And just play around with it. Turn your nail, see where you want to add. You don't want to go too crazy with the gold and the Aurora. We just want to, you know, when we turn the nail, as you turn the nail, you can't really see without the top coat, but as you turn the nail, you just want to be like, oh, pow, there's a little hit of something shimmering. Pow, there's a little hit of something shimmering. So again, I'm going to also add some of those patches of the white that are sort of milky. So again, grabbing very, very tiny amounts and finding the area that you'd like to have a little bit of a milky patch and adding that and just kind of patting it over. And it's okay if it covers some of that glitter. That's actually a good thing because it gives us, again, that layer of sort of dimension. So I'm going to pat over a little bit of this glitter here, a little bit here. And now if you wanted to add some color, you absolutely could. I am not going to add any more color. I'm just going to leave it as is, and I am going to cap this with clear. And I won't really be able to tell if it's quite close or not to Vincent's design until I get that top coat on. So it looks pretty close. Even if it's not identical, it's a pretty cool, sorry, I'm out of frame, guys. It's a very cool design anyways. So I'm going to cap this with clear, and then I'm going to shape it and buff it and get ready for the top coat. Alright guys, so I off camera finished the other 4 nails, and I am now going to top coat, and we are going to see how close we got them to VINCENTNAILS design. So let's do the thumbnail, which is the one that I worked on camera. Well guys, thanks again for watching another one of my videos. I'm super happy with how this design turned out. I hope that I did Vincent proud, and I am super grateful to Miss Curly Blonde Unicorn for suggesting this idea to me. So I hope that you enjoyed this video just as much as I enjoyed making it for you guys. As always, please click the like and subscribe button. Any comments or questions, leave them in the comment section below, and share this video with anyone else that you think might enjoy it. And have a great day, guys!